Welcome to EmpowerFuse with your host, Dr. Carolyn M. Rubin. EmpowerFuse is a show of empowering messages with a focus on encouraging self-confidence, resilience, and a positive mindset. Certified life coach and 6-phase meditation trainer, Dr. Carolyn Rubin, will unleash inspiration together while igniting motivation and creativity. Dr. Rubin will discuss many topics such as healthcare, leadership, life, growth, and we'll add in some laughter too. So please welcome the host of EmpowerFuse, Dr. Carolyn Rubin.
Good morning, friends. I am honored to be with you today. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been walking this journey along with me, I want to say welcome. This space is for you, your growth, your strength, your transformation. Let me ask you, when was the last time you truly paused? Not the kind of pause where you're scrolling through your phone or halfway watching TV while your brain is going through your to-do list, but a real pause, stillness, breathing, a moment you gave yourself permission to simply be. For many of us, that's been far too long. We live in a culture that glorifies business. Hustle is praised. Exhaustion is celebrated as proof of worth. But busyness is not effectiveness. And hustle is not purpose. And here's the truth. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop. Welcome to EmpowerFuse, unleashing inspiration together. It's not just a show. It's an experience. To get the most out of it, I encourage you to keep an EmpowerFuse journal. Use it to capture your insights, the breakthroughs you feel, and the action steps you commit to each week. Over time, this journal will become a living record of your growth and transformation. Today's message, the power of pause. Why stillness moves you forward. We'll walk through the science, the wisdom, the practice, and I'll share stories of how pause has shaped my own journey, as well as the journey of those that I have mentored and led. Because pause, it's not just personal, it's contagious. When you live with pause, you give permission for others to breathe too. So before we begin, I want you to do something very important. Pause. Wherever you are. Sitting with your coffee, driving in your car, or catching this on a busy day. Just give yourself a moment. I want you to take a deep breath in and release it slowly. Let go of what came before that moment. Let go of what's waiting for you after that moment. So again, take a deep breath and let it out. This is your time. A sacred pause at the end of your week. A place where inspiration meets reflection and where you can gather the strength, clarity, and hope that you need. So as we step into today's episode together, I invite you to be fully present, not just listening with your ears, but with your heart. Because what you capture here has the power to change not just your day, but your direction. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back to EmpowerFuse. Science tells us that pausing activates the rest and restore system in our bodies, clearing stress, sharpening clarity. Leaders who pause respond with wisdom instead of reacting with regret. Leaders who never pause, they react. They speak too quickly. They make rash decisions and they regret later. But leaders who do pause, who wait, breathe, and listen, become leaders who build trust. I remember a high-stakes meeting where emotions were running high. People were frustrated, interrupting each other, ready to just quit. My instinct was to just jump in and to control the noise and try to control the room. But something inside said, pause. So I stayed quiet. A few moments of silence fell. People began to calm down. And when I finally spoke, it shifted the entire direction of the meeting. Not because my words were perfect, or even the message that I had, but because they came from clarity instead of chaos. That pause changed everything. I also once mentored a new nurse leader who was brilliant but frantic. She rushed every response. filled every silence and left meetings exhausted. Her team felt steamrolled. So I said to her one day, what if you paused before answering? What if you let the silence breathe? She tried. At her next team meeting, she asked a question and she waited. Now, it was a little awkward for her. But then one of her quieter staff members spoke up with an idea that changed the entire workflow. She told me later that pause wasn't weakness. It was leadership. Now, I have a journaling exercise that I would like for you to do. So grab a journal, or you can use your phone and make notes. But I want you to think of one moment in your life when a pause saved you. Maybe it prevented conflict. Maybe it helped you make a better decision. I want you to write it down. I want you to describe what happened, how you felt, and how things would have been different without that pause. I'll give you a couple of minutes to just breathe. I don't want you to overthink this. Let your memory guide you. But just write down one moment in your life when a pause saved you. What happened? How did you feel? And how would things have been different without the pause? Keep writing. Now, let's confront the myth. Hustle equals worth. Busyness feels validating. A full calendar feels like importance. But hustle without pause doesn't prove your value. It drains it. Think about this. Athletes don't sprint endlessly. They sprint, they rest, they sprint. Musicians use rest to shape sound. Without pause, there's only noise. How have you built in pause? Whether it's in your day, in your week, think about that. There was a season in my career where I was working night and day. I answered emails at midnight, led meetings at dawn, and told myself I was thriving. I'm okay. I can do this. But the truth? I was short-tempered with my family. I was impatient with my team and blind to opportunities. It wasn't until I took a weekend off, totally unplugged, which is difficult to do. But when we do it, the fog will lift. And you know what happened? The solution to one of my biggest challenges didn't come in front of a computer screen. It came while I was watching the sunrise. When we give ourselves a moment to pause, things become clearer. We're not just scrolling on our phone. I mentored a rising leader once who came to me in tears. I don't think I can keep this pace. She was packed full on her calendar. She was meeting at night. Her evenings were consumed with either emails or calls. And I looked at her and I said, where's the pause? Where's the white space? She said, there isn't none. Nothing is there. So we built it in. 15 minutes between meetings and one work-free night a week. She had to pause. 3 months later, she said, I'm not just surviving, I'm leading again. That's the difference pause makes. So we're going to take a couple minutes and I want you to close your eyes. We're going to inhale deeply for 4 counts. Hold it for 4 counts. And then exhale for 6 counts. So close your eyes. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Now, I want you to look at your life right now. Where are you hustling without pause? I want you to write this down. Where are you hustling without pause? Where does busyness give you a false sense of importance? I want you to write down one area where you need to step back. Then ask yourself, what's one small pause I could build in this week? Take another deep breath. Exhale. Again, don't overthink it. Let your memory guide you. Where are you hustling without pause? And where does busyness give you a false sense of importance? And again, I want you to write down one area where you need to step back. Then ask yourself, what's one small pause I could build in this week? Write it down and commit to it. We're going to take another quick commercial break. Keep writing, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're talking about the power of pause. And I hope you have your journal, and I hope you have been taking notes and joining us on the different exercises and opportunities as we walk through those different journaling options. See, pause isn't new. It's woven into the wisdom of every tradition. I want you to think about it. So in the Sabbath, in the Bible, we take one day to stop, to breathe, and remember what matters. Meditation in Buddhism and Hinduism, silence as a teacher, and Stoic journaling, reflection as preparation for challenges. Even nature has rhythms. Winter is rest before the spring blooms. So think about that. Pause is not new. One of my mentors once told me, I never make a major decision on the same day I feel pressure. I pause. That wisdom changed me. Years later, a young leader I mentored wanted to quit her job after a conflict. I told her the same thing. Pause. Don't decide today. She did. A week later, not only did she stay, but she turned that conflict into one of her greatest leadership wins. I'll never forget attending a women's leadership retreat where we were told to go spend an hour outdoors in silence. I almost resisted. An hour? That felt impossible. But in that stillness, tears came. Ideas flowed. I walked back lighter, clearer, stronger. That hour of pause gave me more wisdom than weeks of hassle and weeks of hustle ever did. So when we take that moment to pause, we bring clarity back into our life. So I want you to think of a decision you're facing right now. I want you to write it at the top of your page. What's one decision that you're facing right now? Write it at the top of the page. Then ask yourself, what would shift if I gave myself 24 hours of pause before acting? Write down what waiting might reveal. Emotions, options, clarity you can't see yet. Don't overthink it. Let your heart lead you. What's a decision you're facing right now? Write it down. Then ask, what would shift if I gave myself 24 hours? Here's how you build purpose into your life. The 3 levels of pause. Micro pauses. Just seconds. A deep breath before hitting send. Silence before answering in conflict. Eye contact before speaking. What about daily pauses? Your rituals, journaling, prayer, meditation, reflection. Even 5 minutes makes a difference. And extended pauses, the big rest, retreats, vacations, sabbaticals, unplugging fully to gain perspective. So again, 3 levels of pause. Micro pause, daily pause, extended pause. Those are just a few ways that you can make sure that you have pause built into your life. I once worked with a leader who began every meeting with 60 seconds of silence. At first, it felt awkward. But over time, it shifted the culture. So think about it. Starting a meeting with 60 seconds of silence. How can that change the culture of your meetings? People come in calmer. The meeting starts out calmer, more focused, more clarity. Solutions come faster. So that 1 minute of pause saved hours of frustration. And any time during a long meeting, if we had a half day or a full day meeting, multiple times throughout that meeting, we would take time to pause. To just breathe. I had a mentee who was a young director who was always on, texting at midnight, emails at 5 a.m. His team was exhausted. They were burning out. So I had a conversation with him and I challenged him to practice daily pause. He resisted. I tried to explain to him that practicing a daily pause could just model stillness. He still resisted. What he did do, though, is that he tried journaling before bed and stopped late night emails. Within weeks, his team said, "You seem more present." His leadership grew not because he did more, but because he paused. So let me ask you this. What level of pause do you need right now? I want you to grab your journal. Is it micro, daily, or extended? Which of these three levels do you need in your life right now? And I want you to write it down. Describe what that pause would look like in real life. If you took 60 seconds to pause or to breathe, or if you journaled, what would it look like for you? And if it's micro, what moment tomorrow will you pause before reacting? I want you to write that down. If it's micro, what moment tomorrow will you pause before reacting? If it's daily, what ritual will you begin? And if it's extended, where can you plan space to rest? So as a reminder, micro pauses, just seconds. Could be a deep breath before hitting send on an email. Silence before answering in conflict. And eye contact before speaking. Daily, what's your ritual? Is it journaling? Is it prayer? Meditation? Reflection? 5 minutes can make a difference. And extended, that's your big reset. Those are your vacations, your sabbaticals. What are you going to do to find space in your life, time in your life to fully unplug and gain perspective? So write it down. Which level of pause do you need right now? I'm going to give you a few minutes. And again, don't overthink it. Let your heart guide you. And you keep writing. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Welcome back to EmpowerFuse. Right now, we're going to talk about turning pause into power. See, pause doesn't stall progress. It actually can multiply it. Because stillness creates a space for creativity. Silence deepens empathy. And pause realigns our spiritual compass. So when we pause, we actually are more productive, more in tune, clearer about what we're looking for. I once faced a career decision with two very different paths. My instinct was to rush, to decide quickly, but my mentor's words, well, they echoed. Pause. Reflect. So I waited. I prayed. I journaled. And in that pause, the answer came. Not in tear, but in peace. Looking back, had I rushed into that decision, I would have chosen the easier road and really missed my calling. I also mentored a young woman who was terrified of public speaking. She raced through her presentations, barely breathing. I said to her, pause is your friend. Silence isn't empty. It's powerful. We practiced together, and months later, I watched her give a keynote that captivated the room. Her secret weapon was the pause. So, last journaling exercise. And I want you to write down these two questions. And I want you to answer them honestly. Where in my life do I need to pause right now? And who else could benefit from the power of my pause? My family, my team, my community. So again, write them down. Where in my life do I need to pause right now? Don't overthink it. Who else could benefit from the power of my pause? My family, my team, my community. Keep writing. Deep breath. Here's your challenge this week. I want you to take 1 minute pause 3 times a day. Write it down and commit to 3 1-minute pauses each day. I want you to journal nightly. What did my pause reveal today? Journal nightly. What did my pause reveal today? And share 1 insight with a mentee, a colleague, or a family member. Because modeling pause mentors others. So again, your challenge this week. Take 1 minute pause 3 times a day. Journal nightly. What did my pause reveal today? And share 1 insight with a mentee, a colleague, or a family member. Because modeling pauses mentors others. Friends, the worlds are always going to shout at you, go faster, do more, come on, it's now, we need this. But your soul will always whisper, pause. You just have to listen. The power of pause is not about stopping. It's about moving forward with clarity, with courage, and calm. And when you choose it, you don't just transform yourself, you inspire everyone that is watching you. Remember, you are stronger than you realize, braver than you know, and more impactful than you imagine. You practice the pause. If today's message spoke to you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Together we create a ripple effect of empowerment. And please subscribe to EmpowerFuse and start your EmpowerFuse journal to track your transformation. This journal can be more than blank pages. It's a mirror. It's a compass. It's a record of your transformation. Each time you tune into EmpowerFuse, you're not just listening to a show. I'm going to give you insights. I'm going to give you lessons. I'm going to give you tips to journaling. I'm going to give you homework. But I want you to remember, you're not just listening to a show. You're stepping into an intentional space of growth, clarity, and connection. Here, your reflections become revelations. The thoughts you capture will show you patterns. The commitments you make will create momentum. And the gratitude you practice will shift how you see the world. Over time, this journal will reveal not just what you've learned, but what you are becoming. So pause. Take a deep breath. Let the noise of the day fall away. give yourself permission to be fully present with what you're going to write. This is your sacred space. A conversation between your heart, your mind, and your future. Think of this as your personal legacy book. The story of your breakthroughs, your choices, your resilience, and your courage to keep showing up. So as you write, don't just take notes. Please capture your heart. Capture your truth. Capture the vision of the leader, the dreamer, and the world changer that you are becoming. Thank you for joining me today on EmpowerFuse. Please stay blessed. Enjoy your friends, family, loved ones this weekend. And until next Saturday, remember to pause. God bless you. Bye-bye.
This has been EmpowerFuse with your host, Dr. Carolyn M. Rubin. Join us each week as Carolyn brings individuals together to share ideas, to collectively support each other, and to spark inspiration. Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern.